Good morning, everybody. Yep, it's me again, and 2 days in a row. That's amazing, isn't it? We'll be doing another shave. I'm doing another video today because I've got these soaps to review, and I want to get them out there. Today is another collaboration soap between the Razor Company and Master Soap Creations, and this one is called Dylan. This Dylan is a very nice cologne type scent, different from what I used yesterday with the tobacco. I did learn from one of my viewers the correct way to pronounce that is tobacco, not tabaci, the way I say it. It's an Italian thing. So anyway, we're going to be using the Dylan today along with the matching aftershave. I've got the scent notes for this. I'm just going to read from their description. It's aromatic, woody, fougere composition with fresh aquatic notes. Colorbrine, bergamot, grapefruit, and fig leaves at the top. Develops with a heart of violet leaf, papyrus wood, organic patchouli, black pepper, and ambrox. Mineral musks, tonka bean, incense, and saffron wrap up the composition and give it a fougere vibe. There you have it. I can read it a lot better than I can describe it. But I'm going to wet my face and we're going to get started. As I said, this is another collaboration soap, which I have really come to enjoy. Today's brush that I'm using here matches, by the way. That's why I'm using it. This brush is a Farver Turncraft brush from Bardstown, Kentucky, with a Sinbad synthetic knot. My favorite knot of all knots. I used a boar yesterday, and I really like it. I really like the boars. But I have best luck with these Sinbads. And if you want to, you can see the difference in the lather if you want to go look at yesterday's video and then take another look at today's. This brush, opposed to the boar, gives me a better lather, a thicker lather, I guess you could say. We're going to be using again, of course, the Yates 921M with a Gillette Platinum on its first use. Get my mouth cleaned off here. And hopefully you aren't getting tired of seeing the Yates. I just can't hardly put it down. But I tell you what I think I'm going to do. There's other razors that I use. One of my other favorites, I'm going to show it to you, is what I think is probably, in my experience, the most underrated adjustable out there, and that's the Parker variant. I love this razor. As you can see, it's got the dial here where you just dial in your aggressiveness. I made my dot, I painted it red because it comes not painted and it's kind of hard to see, but I really like this razor. And I think next week what I'm going to do on my shave next week is I think I'm going to do a comparison shave, which I don't know if I've ever even done that or not, but I'm going to do that. I think next week with the Parker variant and the Yates 921M. So let's go ahead and get started with this really nice soap. These, I told you yesterday, these collaborations really turn out well. Next time you need a soap, give one of them a try. Go to the Razor Company website and you'll see them there. And if you have trouble finding them, just go to the When you go to the razor company site and you click on the soaps and creams tab, on the left hand side will pop up brand names, long list of brand names, and you can scroll down to Master Soap Creations and you'll see these collaboration soaps, I call them. And pick you one up. And when you do, be sure you use the Randy Shaves code in the coupon box. I would appreciate that. That will allow me, maybe if I get enough of those, to purchase the next collaboration they do, so I can show it to you. And if you have Instagram and you've never seen them, go to the razor company. They have a lot of live things that are neat. Sometimes it's discussions with the artisans. They just did one with Master Soap Creations not long ago. On Saturdays, they do a live shave with 3 or 4 guys up there shaving. And on Friday nights is when they do the artisan, featured artisans. I just saw last night who the featured artisan is going to be Friday night, and I'll be darned if I can remember. I'm doing my shave early this morning. Have to take my grandson to play practice this morning. He's in we have a local theater here where they do plays and musicals and such, and he's involved in that. So they're preparing for a play, and I've got to get him there because his mom and dad are working. So let me rinse. That's what grandpas are for, right? He's 14. He's the younger brother of the one in the Army that you've heard me speak of. He's 15. I'm sorry. He just had a birthday in May. So I got 115, and the one in the Army turns 20 the last day of this month. He just went back to Fort Campbell after having 2 weeks leave at home, which, needless to say, I enjoyed. They just live 2 doors down. He comes down here. I'll hear the door open. He always says, hello. Comes in. I'm hungry. So I have to fix him something to eat. I told him the other day, I said, man, here you are, nearly 20 years old. You fly drones in the U.S. Army, and you can't fix your own lunch. He just laughed. He said, well, I can, but yours are better. Yeah, right. But I do not mind that at all. Nice shave so far. Boy, this is a wonderful scent. Really, really is. Yeah, next week I'll do a side by side comparison shave with this Yates and the Parker variant. And I do use the variant. I'll probably use it a couple times a week, usually, just to switch things up. But this one here is still my favorite. I use the variant on setting 3 on my first pass, and then my second pass, knock that down to 2, and it gives a very close shave. You have to be just a little more careful with it. Well, you have to be careful with any razor. I was reading, I don't even remember what group it was. I was in one of the Facebook shaving groups the other night, and a fella asked a question, and he said, what do you think is the biggest cause of cuts and nicks while shaving? Do you think it's the blade? Do you think it's the razor? What do you think it is? And some questions like that, I just kind of scroll on past because they're just very subjective depending on who's answering it. But I couldn't resist on this one. And my answer was, and this is what I believe, the most important thing to guard against nicks and cuts, and what causes the most nicks and cuts, it's not the blades usually, it's not the razor, it's the technique. If you don't have good technique, you're going to wind up with blood on your face. And most of the time, I have found through my experience, and don't get me wrong, when I first started doing this, I had my share of nicks and cuts. But what I learned was, okay, the first thing you got to do is know which way your beard grows on what part of your face, because it grows in all different directions. Mine does. But the biggest thing is pressure. No pressure on the razor, guys. Let it do the work. That's what it's designed for. But there's a tendency for nearly everyone to, if they make a stroke and they don't feel like they're really getting a lot of whiskers off, they tend, unconsciously most of the time, they tend to press down thinking that's going to help. And they end up bloody. Now, especially here where I'm shaving now, for me, I am extra careful. I'm slow. Because if I get nicks or cuts, this is where it's going to be, usually. I've got this crease right here. That I have to be careful with. So technique is the most important thing to me. Now, a good razor is important, a good blade is important, but you can shave with almost any razor or any blade, and if you use the proper technique, you're going to come out okay. And let me also say, an excellent soap don't hurt anything. Good, slick soap really makes it nice. And another thing I like about these Master Soap Creation soaps, just kind of watch this. I just wet my hand and wet my face some more. They've got residual slickness. I can just keep shaving. Look at that. It's just so. Even the places I didn't go against the grain, like the cheeks, there's enough slickness there that allows me to go back and do that if that's what I want to do. They're just wonderful. Okay, I'm going to rinse one more time. Let's see, I think I'll just use a rag today. And then we'll break out the alum. Making good time today. All right, let me get my alum block. What have I done with it? Here it is. That's why I like doing these videos in here in this room. Because everything I need is right here at my fingertips. And if I forget something, I don't have to run back in here and get it. No feedback. No feedback. That's the sign of a good shave. And that's the sign of, I'm not tooting my horn, but that's the sign of a good technique. And it takes a while to learn that. Don't get me wrong. When I first started wet shaving, I had irritation, especially right down in here on both sides of my neck. And I now know what was causing that. It was pressure. Pressure on that razor. You don't need pressure. Okay, here's the brush. I think that goes together well, don't y'all? Yeah, it really does. Farver Turncraft, Bardstown, Kentucky. Not far from me. It's about 3.5 hours, something like that. But Bob Farver on Etsy. Look him up on Etsy. Okay, I'm gonna rinse. Get my face patted dry, and then I'm gonna reach for the Osage rub. Cool things off here. Man, it feels good. To me, I know a lot of people don't like menthol. I love menthol. I've got quite a few Sterling soaps also, and I like their Glacial series because they are really cool and cold. I wanted to rinse this out to show you once again, get the name right. Rodak Lather Bowl, perfect depth, beautiful work, by the way. And you can go to their website and look them up. They got all kinds of designs, and they're just really nice. So now it's time to show you what I do with the Aftershave in the Master Soap Creations cologne scents. They are very, um, they have a lot of scent to them, and some people love that. I like to calm that down just a little bit. So what I do is I have these droppers that I bought. You get a whole bag of these things for nothing practically. And what I normally do is I take this aftershave, and I've taken the restrictor out so that I can get it down in here. And I suck up some of that aftershave in this pipette or whatever you call it. And I put about 4 drops in the palm of my hand. And then I take some Thayer's unscented witch hazel, and I pour that in my hand to finish it up. And I mix all that together. I put it on my face. Now that, for me, makes a perfect level of scent. Now if you like more scent, you put more drops in there. If you like it full strength, go for it. Because it is a wonderful scent. But I can tell you right now from experience with these, I will, even with what I did, diluting it down, in the morning, when I wake up, I will still smell this scent because they are that good. And a bottle will last me, I don't tell how long it'll last, doing it the way I do it. But that's not why I do it. I do it to, and if you'll notice yesterday with the tobacco, I didn't do that. I used it full strength because it's a darker scent, and it doesn't come off as strong as the cologne scent does. But I also do other brands that way. Ariana and Evans, A&E, Peter Chilakis. I do his that way on his cologne scents. I've talked to him about it, and he says they do make their scents rather stout so that they'll last. And they do the same thing here at Master Soap Creations. So that's the shave for today, guys. We use the Dillon soap. I don't think I showed you the inside. You can see where I've scooped out there. There again, it's not a hard soap. It's not a soft soap. I saw someone else reviewing this on YouTube, and they were talking about this is a very, very soft soap. It's almost a crope. Well, mine's not. I don't know. This is not that way. It's just perfect. We had the matching aftershave. We had the Farver Turncraft brush. Show you his coin again there. And we used, with the Dillon aftershave, get it turned around here, we used little Thayer's witch hazel unscented. You don't want a scented one to mix with your other scents, so I use unscented. But that's the shave for today. I put the Aveeno on. You just saw me do that. I guess I showed that to you, but there it is. I get the Aveeno dimethicone skin protectant, nourishes dry skin, yada 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 yada. I like it. So that's it for today. That's 2 days in a row. I hope you watch, and I hope you give it a thumbs up. I hope you subscribe if you haven't. It's getting daylight out there, as you can see in my window. And I'm going to be off to town here shortly to get the grandson to play practice. Can't forget, we used the Yates 921M with, what did I do with it? There it is. Gillette Platinum Blade. That was on its first use. I think I told you that. Hey, you guys, have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. Have great shaves. Use my Razor Company link when you make your order, and I would deeply appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys the next time. Adios.